This is a clash you don't want to miss. Imperawatt's captain MBT rocking Thunder is taking on Cryoscorch's BeanSoldier with the Frost element. These casters had a series of starter decks to open up this week with our special Shattered Stars packs. Let's see what they pulled. MBT kicks this off with a Divine Blessing, an incredible new counter rune that stops opponents' invokes. BeanSoldier hits a Flammoth and Infrostix, a huge win for his Frost element being able to revive Elestrals from the underworld. With these new cards, each caster builds an epic deck to throw down for week 1. MBT is bringing Thunder Nexus, a powerful combo that features Sparkit and Zeus to rip cards from your opponent's hand. BeanSoldier is bringing a strong variation of the Cryoscorch starter deck, relying on the power of Cryoling and Cryovern to provide a strong attacker very quickly. Infrostix is a key card to look out for because it can snowball super fast, and MBT may struggle to keep up. Leave a comment down below who you think's gonna win, and don't forget to like the video. And here we go, we're gonna get this clash kicked off. BeanSoldier, known as one of the best Elestrals players, definitely one of the most feared casters in this entire event, and of course MBT, our runner-up from last season. Astrabit going to be the first card played here for BeanSoldier. I think he's hoping that that's going to be a theme for the rest of the season because this is the quintessential #1 opener in Elestrals. Just such a powerful card. Gonna follow that up with a Nectar of the Gods, a card that wasn't really used a ton in Season 1 of the Elestriad, but gets a huge boost here in Season 2, especially with these Frost decks, because they don't care if they get their spirits in the underworld. In fact, that's part of the strategy with Cryoling. The more Frost Spirits in your underworld, the faster you can turbo your Cryoling into a Cryovern, which becomes a powerful 7 attacker that hits the field and can be devastating for opponents. MBT has an opportunity to get this game started, and he's gonna start it off with a Sparkit. Sparkit is a very scary threat if you're BeanSoldier because it can rip cards right out of your hand. Bean was pretty prepared for that. As you see, he laid a ton of back row in anticipation of Sparkit. That's one of these aspects of the Elestriad, is these casters kind of know what their opponent could be bringing, and there's a lot of counter strategy there in terms of building around what you think your opponent's gonna bring. The first Nexus here from MBT, get a Nexus from Zeus to Sparkit to activate that effect, looking to rip some cards straight out of BeanSoldier's hand, but the Gorgon's Gaze is there to shut it down, chooses to stop the effect after the Nexus. So now that Sparkit is sitting there on the field, here's a Resting on Your Laurels, taking advantage of the Zeus. Really big plays there from BeanSoldier, who's not relying on Kione as much on this deck, whereas MBT really relies on Zeus in his deck to be able to make these strategies work out the best. So ultimately, huge opportunities there. He's going to continue to be able to funnel those spirits into his underworld. He's going to grab this Cryoling right out to the field, and he's going to be able to put on immediate pressure as he has 6 Frost Spirits in the underworld, or 5 Frost Spirits in the underworld. That's going to allow Cryoling to ascend immediately into Cryovern. A huge play there for BeanSoldier. 7 attack Cryovern as a 2-drop, and MBT sitting there with just 1 back row and a Zeus, staring down an incredible threat right away. This is actually really powerful and a huge start for BeanSoldier. MBT's got his work cut out for him already, guys. Like, he had his Sparkit stopped right away. The Cryovern comes down to pressure right away, and all of a sudden, you've got a 7 attack 2-drop facing you down. Zeus does give MBT some potential here. Let's not beat around the bush. The opportunity to drop the attack of that Cryovern could be massive on this next turn, but MBT is going to take 3 spirits of damage here and get knocked down to 13 spirits. It's 12 to 13 as these 2 casters vie for positioning here. Astrabit hits the field for MBT again, looking for card advantage, being able to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and grab another card from there. This could be a chance for him to grab an Earthquake, something like that that could potentially get rid of that Cryovern, but he's going to drink some Nectar of the Gods. Zeus taking a big sip there. That's going to draw him 2 more cards. Again, taking spirits as his damage as he goes, and the Earthquake is there. We finally see it. Big plays from MBT. What was that, MBT?
Did he find? You found it.
Get that fucking guy out of here.
Yep.
Don't put that in the video. Don't put that in the video.
The exact card MBT needed, the Earthquake, to clear the Cryovern off the field. But this is where BeanSoldier, he kind of has you where he wants you, right? Because Cryoling is not a hard card to find in this deck. You've got an Harpoon to search it. You've got the opportunity to potentially revive it with an Infrostix. There's some more opportunities there. And another Resting on Your Laurels. MBT forced to use earthquakes, but we've got these resting on your laurels instead on BeanSoldier, which is taking such significant advantage over MBT's Zeus. That Zeus is basically enabling this removal. And there's the Narpoon. We just talked about Narpoon, an incredible new water Elestral. Not only does this card dodge Tsunami, but it allows you to search out a 1-cost Frost Elestral from your deck. And yeah, there you go. BeanSoldier grabs the Infrostix. He can now expend 2 Frost Spirits to activate this Infrostix effect. That's going to allow him to special cast out a 1-Spirit Frost Celestial from his Underworld. This was exactly the snowball effect that we were worried about or talking about in the pregame. The Frost Spirit hits the Cryoling. Its effect is going to activate, which means that Cryovern hits the field. He's actually going to go with the Thunder Spirit Misenchant. Understanding he does not need Cryovern's effect because he's not even running Cryoscourge. You just misenchant it, so it becomes a 7 attacker with 2 spirits. And by misenchanting it, you can potentially dodge things like Tsunami if you went with the Water Spirit, or in this case, potentially dodging Ryceros on MBT's end. So MBT takes a big blow there. A ton of spirits going off of his spirit deck. That's 4 spirits. It's 6-4. Still a close clash, but I gotta tell you, MBT has his back against the wall. He's got some pretty significant Elestrals he's got to climb up here with. He does have the Zeus working for him. He's going to be able to go for the Zeus Nexus. Going to be able to go for a hand rip here. Does BeanSoldier have an answer to it? We saw it get Gorgon's Gaze earlier. He loses his Frigicub, so Frigicub goes down. MBT has a chance here to try to put this back with Zeus. Let's listen in for the final moments.
We'll go Zeus the Cryovern.
Sure.
And you're
so now he's down to what,
one.
4? Yeah.
We're gonna do it again.
Sure. So now he's at 1.
Battle. Spark it into the Cryovern.
Shield.
You got it. Oh my god.
Holy.
That was a hell of an open. F***ing hell.
What an incredible clash as BeanSoldier takes the huge W over MBT in week 1 of the Elestriad, the Cryo Scorchers at a point to the board. That was an incredible showcase of the power of Cryoling, Cryovern, and the Cryo Scorch starter deck. Make sure you subscribe and tune in for another clash tomorrow.